Hey, good morning. I am going to go over real quick the radio console mount I made for my new 2024 Ford Expedition. And I think the jockey box on that is the same as the F-150s, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, this is a new truck for me, and it did not have a lot of places to mount radios. So I'm gonna go over what I've built, and then we'll take you outside and install it into the truck, and you can see that, and I'll maybe go over some of the antennas that I've got going too. So as you can see, all of this is on pigtails, and it's got one power cord that goes to it. So if I wanted to, I can pull this out, use it mobilely. The antenna leads are there for most of the units. And I'm just gonna go through. I apologize for the shadows and stuff. I'm dealing with some interior lighting here. Well, I'll give you a little overview of what's going on here, and then we'll go into the individual radios and wiring. So what I've got in here is, first off is my switch mount. This is an Auxbeam 8 circuit. It's the one that has, you know, all the different colors and different modes it can pulse and those types of things. And this is on a Velcro, so I can take this switch mount out and put it, you know, on the dash or whatever I want to do with that. And that's why this pigtail is kind of left out. But normally that'll just mount right there, and should give it a little bit more room there. So that's the switches for the truck there. This switch does have a main radio switch that'll turn all of this stuff off. Make sure that if I'm changing, you know, if anything's going on or whatever, I can just shut everything down. That power lead that I showed you goes into a Blue Sea 6 circuit board or fuse board, and each of the radios is on its own fuse. And I'll go over the individual radios here. So what it's got mounted in here is the CB, which I'll show you, and the CB is mounted right up in there, and that is a Uniden CMX 760, and that goes through, and the mic is right here. And I'll show you when that's installed in the truck how that works really well, kind of hidden right there. And then the next radio that I've got on here is a, well, we'll go up here and start here. This is the Midland MXT 500 GMRX, and that one of course has the mic that goes in there, and the mount for that mic is about right here, and it's mounted actually in the jockey box. I don't have that hooked up all the time because it's just too many cords all around, but that's real easy to pop in there. And then what I've got here is an LED mag light, and then a tactical pen that has a glass breaker on this side, and then a regular pen there. That was just kind of to take up some extra space and kind of make it handy right there. This switch here is for the fans. That's again on its own circuit, and those fans are mounted right there and right there. And those are just computer style CPU fans, and I can turn those on when the radios are all running, just because it is in the jockey box, and I'm a little worried about things getting real hot. The Yaesu dual band ham radio is mounted right there, and that's the Yaesu FTM, I'm sorry, 300DR, and the head unit for that is right here, and then the transceiver is right here, and that just slides in there and clicks in. Hold that nice and out of the way. This is mounted on a RAM mount, so this head unit can pull out, and again, that's what this cord is laying there for. I can pull this head unit out and mount it on the truck. I'll show you how that works, but normally it can just sit down in the jockey box. Right here is a Uniden BCD996P2 scanner, and mounted in there, and then it's got a Uniden, and I'm going to pop this over so you can kind of see what's going on with wiring. Right here is the Uniden GPS unit, and that's got an external GPS antenna that I jerry-rigged, so it's not hindered by the car or anything. It's out on the outside of the windshield. These are all mounted in there, and the wiring is all, I'll tell you, the wiring is all hidden up in there, and I tried to give everything plenty of room. I can still hear the speakers. I don't need to go with an external speaker. When I have the jockey box open, I can hear the speakers just fine. The speaker for the Yaesu is faced out this way. The speaker for the Uniden scanner is right there, and then the speaker for the GMRS is facing out that way. So there isn't a bunch of room. They're not smashed up against each other. The speaker for the CB actually comes through on the handset, so that's not a problem. And then on the other side here, I've got a Blackhawk quick disconnect holster that goes in there. These holes are just screw holes, access holes for the mounts on the scanner and the GMRS. So when this is in there, and that's a SIG P365 with the manual safety, it's not the X model or anything like that, and I'll tell you why. This part barely fits into the console, and so it kind of precludes me from going with anything a little bit bigger. I think if I raise this mount up, I probably could get one of my 320s in there or something, but this smaller 9mm fits in the console really well. And then it's got some magnet mounts in the console for the magazines. So anyway, that's kind of how this is set up, and pretty easy to pop out when I need to work on it, or if I did need to bug out and use it as a mobile, I can do that with an exterior antenna set up. And then we'll go outside. It's freezing cold outside right now, so I'm gonna warm up the truck before I do that. But I'll show you how this mounts in the truck and fits in the jockey box. A couple of things I will mention is right here, I've put the soft part of Velcro on all of the walls here, and that basically keeps it from rattling. It sits in there really tight, fits really nicely, but I didn't want any rattling when I'm on washboard roads or anything like that, and helps with the sound a little bit. That's about it for the unit itself, and we'll go outside and put it in the truck, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, we're back, and I'm gonna show you how this all fit in. It took me about 5 minutes to install it. It takes about 30 seconds to come out, but getting it in is a little bit harder because you gotta make sure all the wires fit and everything like that. So here's the console, and as you can see in this Expedition, there's really very little place to put a radio. Some people have done it down here, but that is the wireless charging for the phone. And I like to kind of have that for mailbox keys and all that kind of stuff. So I'll show you how it all fits in there now. Okay, so as you can see, there is very little room in here. And I'm going to try to get up over and be able to show you how the holster for this, it barely fits. There's some contours in the bottom of the jockey box there that you have to work around. So barely fits in there, but you can get to everything pretty nicely. And this is the radio mount for the GMRS, and everything else is in there. And then, like I said, this switch pod can just come through this little lead there, and I can throw it in the cup holder or whatever. The Yaesu, this RAM mount, I can pull this out, and what I do is I've installed this RAM mount track up here, and I put it on this ball, and it hangs over on top of the screen, like right there. And that seems to work really well. So that is the inside of the box and how it fits. And like you can see, that Velcro that I put on there, that keeps anything from rattling. And really, this thing is really tight. There's a couple of little pieces of foam, hard foam here and here, just to make it look nice and also hold it extra sturdy in there. And then this jockey box does lock. Not that someone couldn't break the plastic, but I live in a pretty safe area, so don't worry too much about that. Plus the truck is all alarmed and everything. I'm going to show you really quick some of the antennas. Now, before I show you all this, I know I'm going to get some criticism on how close these antennas are to each other. I just want to preface this with saying I only usually run one radio at a time, and so I'm not getting a lot of interference. But I also struggled with antenna placement on this truck because it is an aluminum body. So there is no ground plane that I could get to easily. And as you can see, I've got the roof pretty full, and just trying to mount something in different places was just a huge pain. So what I did is go to this SDHQ. These are for ditch lights mostly, but I have installed, this is the CB antenna, and the CB antenna is on a quick disconnect. And I am running I think it's a 30-inch fire. This is a Tiger, and I think it's made, I can't remember. And then this is the Motorola antenna, and I do have a taller Motorola antenna for this if I wasn't running the CB. So it just depends on who I'm running with. If they're talking on CBs or on the GMRS, I can take the CB antenna off and then put the longer antenna on here. And this is just on an MNO mount there. And then on the other side here, I do have a Baja Design S1 ditch light. And then this is the ham radio antenna, and this is I'm trying to see who makes this one. This is a SBB5 antenna, and it is pretty out of the way. And then this is the scanner antenna, and this scanner can go, everything's frozen right now, but that does lift up. This is on a quick disconnect, so all of this can be unscrewed and taken off if I was parking somewhere where I didn't want my antenna stolen. And then this is the GPS puck that's just run right there. All of this stuff is run through the firewall. I'll go through a different video that talks about the truck itself and some of the wiring and the auxiliary fuse box and all that kind of stuff later. But that's the radio setup. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to drop some comments if you have any questions. and talk to you later.
Back real quick. I don't know how to do a whole bunch of editing and stuff, so I'm just going to correct my mistake here. These are not Motorola antennas. These are Midland, and I just want to make sure that people, as they're looking for parts, aren't trying to find a Motorola one. That's Midland, and then the replacement, the taller one, is also a Midland. And maybe just a really quick shout out to Midland. I rolled my last truck and all the antennas snapped. I had a bull bar antenna for the GMRS. Midland replaced those for me, and just want to say thanks to them, and great customer support. But I wanted to fix that little error right there, and have a good day.